Good morning, boys and girls. Before we go ahead and continue our work on geometry, I want to remind you to be sure to watch the Brain Pop video on quadrilaterals first to give you a nice introduction before we begin. And when you're ready to begin, you will simply just need your geometry notes for today and a pencil. So let's go ahead and get started. The easiest way to talk about quadrilaterals is to show you some examples and then show you some non-examples. And then you can decide what makes a quadrilateral a quadrilateral. I will get you started by reminding you that a quadrilateral is a type of polygon. And if you remember from yesterday, all polygons have 3 or more sides, the sides are straight, and it's a closed shape. All right, so let's go ahead. Let me put some examples of quadrilaterals up here. You can tell me what you notice they all have in common. Squeeze this last one up here. Here are examples of quadrilaterals. Here are examples of polygons that are not quadrilaterals. What do you notice about this group that is different from the non-examples? Here's your hint. Count the sides. Yes, you got it. Quadrilaterals are special types of polygons that only have 4 sides. Okay? Polygons that have 4 sides are called quadrilaterals. It's a big word. Try to say it. Quadrilateral. All right, let's take this information and let's record it in our notes. So go ahead and get your geometry notes out. We'll record our examples, our non-examples, and then talk about some common quadrilaterals. All right, so looking at the first sheet, we skipped quadrilateral yesterday. We don't need to skip it today. A quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides, and it also has 4 angles. And we can draw a couple examples. 4 sides, 4 angles. Those are quadrilaterals. Yesterday we talked about 4 types of polygons. We talked about a square, a rectangle, a pentagon, and a hexagon. 2 of these are also considered a quadrilateral. Which 2 are they? You're right, the square and the rectangle, because they have 4 sides and 4 angles. That's it for quadrilateral. All right, let's turn the page and talk about a couple more quadrilaterals. One type of quadrilateral that might be new to you is called a parallelogram. A parallelogram has 4 sides, and the opposite sides are parallel to each other. I'll tell you what that means in a minute. So let's go ahead and jot that down, and then we'll discuss that word parallel. So parallelogram has 4 sides. I'm going to jot that it's a quadrilateral here. Four angles. Opposite sides, and I'm running out of room, so it's okay if you go into that box. parallel. Here's an example of a parallelogram, and you can try to do a pencil sketch. Basically, it looks like a rectangle slanted. All right, let's talk about what that word parallel means. So if we're talking about opposite sides being parallel, so if I were to extend these lines, these sides, they will never touch. Parallel lines are lines that will never touch. So do you see these two sides of the parallelogram? I'm using the straws to show you how I'm extending the sides. They will never touch if these lines go on and on and on and on. They will never touch. So now let's look at this side of the parallelogram and this side of the parallelogram. Those lines are parallel too. They will never touch no matter how far that line goes. They will never touch. So a parallelogram is a shape that has four sides, four angles. Opposite sides are parallel. Now you're probably thinking, oh, that's similar to a square. Or, oh, wait a minute. That's similar to a rectangle. And you're right. A rectangle and a square are also parallelograms because they have opposite sides that are parallel. All right, let's continue with rhombus. Here's an example of a rhombus. You might be familiar with this from the pattern blocks. So a rhombus is a quadrilateral. Let's note that here. So if it's a quadrilateral, we know it has four sides What do you notice about the side lengths? They are equal. Equal lengths. For angles. Take a look at the sides here. These sides are opposite and parallel also. So let's go ahead and draw a pencil sketch of the rhombus. Try to make your sides look relatively equal. And our last one. Our last one is called a trapezoid. A trapezoid looks like that. It is also a quadrilateral. Because it has four sides. What makes this different from the parallelogram and the rhombus? The opposite sides. So here's opposite sides. Those sides are parallel. They will never touch. However, these opposite sides will touch. They are intersecting. So a trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel lines. That's different from the rhombus and the parallelogram. They had two pairs of parallel lines. The trapezoid only has one. The other sides will intersect. They will cross. All right, let's try to pencil sketch our trapezoid. So there you have it. We talked about quadrilaterals today, being a special type of polygon that has 4 sides. And we talked about different types of quadrilaterals: parallelogram, rhombus, and trapezoid. Square and rectangle are also quadrilaterals. For your work today on page 273, you'll be taking a look at this chart and identifying these shapes and saying if it's a quadrilateral or not, and if it's not a quadrilateral, why is it not a quadrilateral? Okay, that's one thing you'll work on. The second thing you'll work on is basic information about quadrilaterals. Identifying which quadrilateral is on the paper, using the box at the top to help you. The box has the characteristics of each type of quadrilateral. You could also use your notes to help you. Okay, good luck with quadrilaterals.